to the U.S. Constitution and the Coloradan Constitution, we have a lot of redundant rights and freedoms, a doubling, if you will. So, like slavery is banned both in the U.S. and in Colorado. Article 2, Section 26 in the 13th Amendment. Contracts are sacred rights. Embedded in the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, and Colorado Constitution 2, Article 2, Section 11. But I'm sure you already knew that, Colorado. Lauren Boebert, that's what I love about you. I'm sure you already knew all that. So we got it redundant. You're doubling speak and assemble and press and a whole bunch of rights, right? All natural inherent rights are protected both by Colorado and by the 9th Amendment, right? So you have Article 2, Section 28. So all natural inherent rights are always protected. The exact wording, Section 28, Article 2, Section 28, Section 28 rights reserved, not disparaged. The enumeration in this Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny, impair, or disparage others retained by the people. So there's a lot of natural rights that we have, right? Right to breathe, right to privacy, right to found a family, probably a right to food, water, clothing, shelter, right? Those are all natural. You have a right to live, right to life. So you have a right to food, water, clothing, shelter. Now, FDR takes that a step above and beyond. He says that there's 6 more freedoms that America needs. This is the second his economic Bill of Rights, the second Bill of Rights. So the FDR amendment is needed. But for FDR, he says that we had a freedom to have a right to a job, right to adequate wage, decent living, right to a decent home, right to medical care, right to good education, and right to economic protection from sickness, old age, accident, or unemployment. He wanted to add those legal rights to the U.S. Constitution. I think that would be a fantastic addition. Now, other redundant doubling of U.S. Colorado constitutional rights. There's no ex post facto laws. Article 2, Section 11, no bills of attainders. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3 of U.S. Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1 of the U.S. Freedom from war. Only Congress has the power to declare war per the War Powers Clause, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11. So that's nice. The right to drink alcohol remains absolute, eternal, and inviolate. 21st Amendment. So, that's our priorities. The state has the freedom to coin silver and gold. All 50 states are allowed to coin their own silver and gold coins, Article 1, Section 10. Right? 21st Amendment is the right to drink alcohol. So, now, what's the point? Why am I saying all the redundant freedoms, right? Well, the point of reading your state constitution, this is for all Americans, specifically Colorado. I did this for Kentucky. I'm doing this for Colorado. But when you read the freedoms that's embedded in the Colorado Constitution, that extends your freedoms. It gives you, not only is it a redoubling, so yeah, we have a right to speak by America, and we got a right to speak by Colorado. But we also have more freedoms, other freedoms that's not even mentioned. So let's talk about the new freedoms, exclusively just for Coloradans. These are legal freedoms that all Coloradans have, and no other Americans, just the Coloradans, because this comes out of the Coloradan Constitution. Now, the military must always be controlled by civilian authority. That is Article 2, Section 22. The military shall always be in strict subordination to the civil power. So, Article 2, Section 22. Coloradans can remonstrate against the government. It's Article 2, Section 24. The people have the right peaceably to assemble for the common good. That's redundant, right? Right to assemble. And to apply to those invested with the powers of government for redress of grievances by petition. Another redundant freedom. Or by remonstrance. That's at Article 2, Section 24. So the people have a right to peacefully assemble, they have a right to petition, and they have a right to remonstrate. What is remonstrance? What is this? What are we talking about here? Article 2, Section 24. So remonstrate is a forceful, reproachful protest. So reproach is when you address somebody in such a way to express disapproval or disappointment. Like, I cannot believe you did that. Why did you do that, government? We have a right to forcefully reproach our government. That's what it says in the Coloradan Constitution. So that's fantastic. Americans have a right to demonstrate against our government, but we Coloradans, We can remonstrate against our government. So, yeah, forceful protest, right? Express disapproval. And those against those invested with the powers of government, right? So we can remonstrate against our own government. We also have the freedom of the press, redundant free speech, but we also have the freedom to write and publish. These are specific freedoms, individual freedoms. This would get, Julian Assange off the hook if he was in Colorado. So press, who is the press, right? Some people say anybody can be the press. Some other people say they need some sort of badge or some shit. But here in Colorado, all Coloradans are free to speak, write, or publish whatever he will. Article 2, Section 10 of the Coloradan Constitution. So that's freedom of the press, essentially, right? But it says free to speak, free to write, free to publish. More explicit, right? So we got, even free press, free speech, free to write, free to publish. So I think that is a lot better. I think also all of us are capable of witnessing and recording an event, so we're all publishers, citizen journalists in some respects or another. But just in case, here in Colorado we have a right to write and publish whether we are the press or not, right? Of course, that's right. We can write and publish any old horse shit we goddamn well please. So, for Coloradans, the right to guns is also more explicit. Scalia had to say it's castle law, but here in Colorado it is castle law. The U.S. Constitution mentions the militia, confuses too many people, but the Coloradan Constitution specifically says that we Coloradans have an individual right to guns to defend, number one, our home, number two, our person, and number three, our property. We also have a right to guns to join in with the sheriff's posse if the sheriff calls for our help. This is also, the freedom, which is, I'm not for sure, it's one of the ones at the top, right, Section 10 or something, but this adds, also, let's see, it's restrictive too, so it's kind of pros and cons, right? It says that nowhere does this say that the freedom to carry concealed weapons. So don't get it, messed up. You can have a gun, but you can't conceal your gun. You have to. It's open. Colorado is open carry state because of that. So let's see here. Which one is it? 9, 10. Let's see. Freedom of speech and press is 10. Ex post facto. Let's see. Section 13. Are y'all ready? This is Colorado's Second Amendment, right to bear arms. The right of no person to keep and bear arms in defense of his home, person, and property, or in the aid of the civil power when thereto legally summoned, shall be called into question. You can't even call into question. Hey, does that Coloradan have a right to own a gun to defend his person, property, and his home, and maybe to go with the sheriff's posse to go get the bad guys? You can't even question it. But nothing herein contained shall be construed to justify the practice of carrying concealed weapons. So, it extends it, but then it takes it back. It extends it like, I don't know, I think it extends it 2 inches, but then comes back an inch. So that, there's some new freedoms that Coloradans have that Americans do not have. Freedom from religion is stronger. Section 4, Clause 1. No person shall be denied any civil or political right, privilege, or capacity on account of his opinions concerning religion. Right to revolution and security, so long as it's necessary to our safety and happiness, and not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States, is protected by Colorado's Constitution. Article 2, Section 2. The rights of crime victims to be heard. All the damn criminals have all these rights, this and that. But now in Colorado, victims have an explicit right to be heard. Anybody who is a victim of a criminal act or such person's designee, legal guardian, or surviving immediate family members if such person is deceased has a right to be heard in all critical stages of the criminal justice system. Article 2, Section 16A. So, if you are a victim, you have a right to be heard in all critical stages of the criminal justice system. Only the treasonous gets punished in Colorado, not their families. No conviction can work corruption of blood or forfeiture of estate. Article 2, Section 9. The right of the suicide of the estates of the people who kill themselves shall be treated as the same as in cases of natural death. Article 2, Section 9, the right to bail. You have a right to bail. Article 2, Section 19, equal rights among the sexes. Women have the same rights as men. Article 2, Section 29. There's also the right to our own court system. The judicial system is our own Colorado. We have a right to use our courts for ourselves. Courts of justice shall be open to every person, and a speedy remedy afforded for every injury to person, property, or character. And right and justice shall be administered without sale, denial, or delay. Article 2, Section 6. Aliens have the same property rights as native-born citizens. Article 2, Section 27. Debtor's prison is illegal unless upon refusal to deliver up his estate for the benefit of his creditors, or in cases of tort, or where there is a strong presumption of fraud. Article 2, Section 12. Landowners have a right to vote or petition on any proposed annexations. Article 2, Section 30. And we also, as Coloradans, have a right to get the excess taxes returned back to us, we the people, because of Tabor, Article 10. Section 2, Article 10. We also have a right to initiative, Article 5, Section 1, Clause 1 and 2. Though Clause 2.5 restricts the people's initiative. We have a right to referendum, Article 5, Section 1, Clause 3 and 4A. We have a right in Colorado of recall. We could throw all these damn bums out any time we fucking feel like it. Article 21, Section 1. We also have a right to home rule. That's Article 20. So, there you go. Those are all the freedoms that we have as Coloradans. As Americans, we have a whole, a whole basket of freedoms, and here we have, a bunch of additional freedoms as Coloradans. I'll just kind of read all of them off without reading, the references, just to, this is just good stuff to memorize. This is good stuff to get into your head. This is, if you want to know, this is Colorado law. The Bill of Rights to Colorado is part of Colorado law, and so are the Bill of Rights to the U.S. Constitution. So, the exclusive rights, for Coloradans is right to home rule, right to recall, right to referendum, right to initiative. We have a right, landowners have a right to vote or petition on any proposed annexations. We have a right to get our excess taxes returned back to us. It's Article 10. We have a right, debtor's prison is illegal. We have a right not to be put in debtor's prison unless we refuse to deliver up the estate for the benefit of the creditors, or in cases of tort, or where there is a strong presumption of fraud. Aliens have the same property rights. Aliens is but that's the law, right? So they're saying foreigners have the same property rights, which, right to use our courts for ourselves. That's right. It's right, but it's so not really a freedom for me, freedom for, the Japanese and the Germans. But we have a right to use our own courts for ourselves here in Colorado. We have a right, the women have the same rights as men. We have a right to bail. The suicided have rights for their estates to be treated as if they had died naturally. The treasonous get punished, not their families. We have the people who are victims of crime. They have rights, a right to be heard in all critical stages of the criminal justice system. We have a right to revolution and security here in Colorado, a right to revolution and security so long as it's necessary to our safety and happiness, not repugnant to the Constitution of the U.S. Article 2, Section 2, the right to revolution. That's fantastic. This is a legal freedom, So freedom from religion, no person shall be denied any civil or political right, privilege, or capacity on account of his opinions concerning religion. As an atheist, I love to hear that. Or anti-theist. For Coloradans, the right to own guns is more explicit, right? We got castle law here. We got castle law. We have an individual right to own guns to protect, for self-defense, to protect our person, to protect our home, to protect our property. Also to join in with the sheriff's posse. Not all Americans have that, but we have that here in Colorado, Section 13, Article 2, Section 13. We also have a right to, free speech, free press, free to assemble, and free to petition, but we also have a we Coloradans have a freedom to write and publish, an individual freedom to write and publish. We also have a right to remonstrate against our government, not just demonstrate. Americans demonstrate, right? Those weak-ass, you know, but the Coloradans, we don't demonstrate here, we remonstrate. Shit. Americans, all they do is demonstrate, but we Coloradans, we remonstrate. That's how we protest our government. We don't just demonstrate, rah, 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 now, we remonstrate. What the fuck are you doing, Bob? Sally, you know you fucked up. Nah, Sally, you fucked up. Oh, Bob. Oh, Bob, well, fuck you, Bob. Sit there and make me yell at Sally when you know you done. And the military, I don't know what military, the National Guard, yes, but strict subordination to the civil power. That also, you know, infers that the police is going to be strict subordination to the civil power. The police are just running rampant. The fascists can do whatever the hell they want to do. No. The cops are to obey the county commissioners in Colorado, or whoever the county government is. That's the executive branch. Cops are executive. The executive is executive, so the commissioners, the county commissioners, are over the police. They're over their budgets, and they are also the civil power that are over the, you know, militarized domestic, the domestic military, right? So those are the new freedoms, Colorado. Those are the exclusive, brand new freedoms that just us Coloradans have because it's embedded in the 1876 Constitution. 1876. So, you're welcome. I read it for you. So, you're welcome, Colorado. Peace.